miles an hour.
Tim, you'd be singing this. Tim Hauraney in the studio. Bit of a cowboy.
Well, I thought you looked like you're about ready to start playing your guitar over
I
there.
Was. I love a bit of country and western, eh?
Don't encourage him, because we've got to get it through a lot of stuff here.
But let's start with NASCAR.
Thank you.
Brian Vickers on the pole, and a lot of others aren't. Especially who we thought would be up there.
Yeah, exactly. You know, the final of a 3-race contender round. Brian Vickers, first pole since August 2009 and 12th of his career. Pretty impressive for the guy. He needed it. That team actually, the Michael Waltrip team really did need that badly. Jimmy Johnson, one of those drivers, you know, he's qualified second for the race. But it was one of those things. I remember we were talking about when the chase really got started. I really hung my hat on Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon. Yeah, the thing with Jimmy Johnson is he's got to win. And if he doesn't win today, then, you know, he might not make it through to the next round, which is tough for him. You know, he's an amazing driver, great champion. And
some of the drivers were angry, you know, after qualifying, because the new qualifying format with NASCAR, and Dale Earnhardt, he was pretty mouthy about it, that he you know, like the heavy hitters are not there, and it's elimination Sunday.
And that's the thing, though, and he does have a point for being upset. He's starting 28th. He's on the hot seat as well. And you go further back, Jeff Gordon didn't have a good qualifying round at all. He really struggled in trying to keep up with that pace. And he was actually one spot away from being eliminated from the race. Now, this is a 4-time NASCAR champion, and he's also, you know, he's one of the favorites to win the championship, and this guy is just about to be eliminated. That blows my mind. I actually didn't expect to see that yesterday, because I remember I've been hanging my hat on him all season, and I really thought that this was his year. But yeah, that just blew me away. I can't believe he struggled that much in qualifying.
But when you look at it, guys, when you're at the top, you're ready to get knocked off. I mean, this is the cycle of racing, or whether it be any other professional sport.
Yeah, you're right. But the thing with Gordon was he was so hungry for that championship. He hasn't won anything in years, so I really expected him to do well, and he's been driving so well this season. So it was really funny to see that. So it's actually the 7th time that Gordon has started 40th or worse in his NASCAR career, which is, you know, that blows my mind, because this is, you know, the contender round. You've got to make it forward into the next round, and this is the race you have to do it, but you qualify all the way at the back. So it's going to be an interesting race.
In fairness to the drivers, too, I mean, they turned up to race and to qualify, and they didn't understand the new qualifying rules. They said it was confusing.
Isn't it? All the money involved, and you don't know the rules and regulations.
But it wasn't explained to them properly.
Not properly, but you know us drivers. Just get in and drive it, make it go fast.
Yeah, what do you mean? Is it gas in the tank? Oh, I'll leave that to you guys.
Right as it's gas.
Any old excuse. Anyway, let's get to IndyCar. Bye-bye, Houston. Hello, Mosport possibility. The schedule was meant to be out a week ago. Still not out. They've delayed it again. What's going on?
This is it's one of those things that organizers are just having trouble getting their dates locked in, because for IndyCar, when you look at it, you have to look at it from the bigger picture. You've now condensed your schedule. You're not going forward in September and to compete against the NFL, the NBA, NHL,
Pan Am Games.
So the thing with this is you have to figure out when is going to work best for you, and the same thing revolves around Toronto. Pan Am Games are in town. It's going to interfere with the Toronto Indy. So when are you going to schedule that in? And the thing with that is, does it conflict with something else big happening, you know, that weekend? Because what you're trying to do is drive your viewership numbers up. You're trying to drive your attendance up, and they've done a good job of that this year. You know, their numbers are up across the board by 32%, which is amazing. You know, the series is doing well. They're making money, so they kind of want to stick with that flow of things.
Yeah, and I tell you what, it's a possibility that the Honda Indy might be in June, but they're still having a problem? I got the answer quickly. Included in the Pan Am Games, the Honda Indy, and give a gold medal, silver and bronze, and all right, I'll forget that. Right.
Thank you very much. Let's move on.
Yeah, let's get to Formula One. Jenson Button from England, the UK driver, thinking of switching to endurance racing.
He doesn't have a contract from McLaren. Do you blame him? You look at Mark Webber last year, 38 years old, going on 39. Red Bull's not sure if they wanted to keep him. So in the middle of the season, he said Porsche came to him saying, we've got this new prototype hybrid system that we're going to be running in the WEC, and we're going to run it in the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Every race car driver that I've ever known wants to race in the 24 Hours of Le Mans. You throw that contract at him, of course he's going to sign it. Same kind of things happening with Jenson Button. Basically what he's doing is throwing the feelers out.
But look at all the sponsors, look all the television rights, all the coverage on that. That'll explode on the ratings there.
Absolutely.
But talking about explosion, in a sense, the season of 1.6 turbo engines there, power, obviously power units there. Mercedes have dominated it, 15 to 16 poles they've got. 13 races they win, and they come, with 9 1s and 2s positioning. Do you think that's going to change? Do you think everybody's going to buy into that? On the change of the turbos? I
think certain teams will. I think certain teams are going to fight against it. You have to look at the engine freeze that they're trying to get rid of. A lot of racing teams are. And the thing with trying to get rid of the engine freeze is that you can develop your engine throughout the season. Now, the goal was coming into this new formula was to reduce cost. Now, but the thing is that they've driven up costs in the off-season just trying to prepare for the new turbo era. Now that it's here, you have a dominant engine like Mercedes, but you have other teams that are starting to, close that gap throughout the season. Renault did a good job of doing that, and so did Ferrari. They've started to close that gap. And the problem with them is I think that these teams are worried that in the off-season, Mercedes is going to make another jump. And if they make another jump, then how are they going to catch them throughout the season? And if you lift that freeze, then you can catch them. But that also means driving costs through the roof.
It's all about money.
Yeah. Indeed. Before we go, talking about that, Las Vegas. Bernie Eccleston at it again, dropping the carrot.
So
want to race up the strip.
If you look at it...
I wouldn't gamble on that, guys.
Well, you could go there and gamble on it, and it would work for you probably.
But as a joke, you know that.
It's actually not a bad idea, and I think it would be. It would actually. but actually, racing on the Las Vegas Strip is a really good idea. I think. If you look at it from a fan's point of view, you're going to go to Las Vegas, you can gamble, but you can also see a really cool race. But if people are worried about the Strip being closed down, look at it being closed down for the marathon that they run there every year. They run a big marathon in Las Vegas, and that closes down the Strip for the whole day. So,
well, it's a problem because we got to get to grips.
Is it going to happen? Do you think it'll happen?
I believe it has a chance.
I can't say, unless they've got 12-foot wire barriers either side of the street. You're going to get some nutcase trying to race across the street during the race.
Yeah, you could.
It's a long strip, man.
And you do have to repave it because it is from what I've heard, like it. They're going to need to tear it up and repave it.
Stick with the oldies. Don't gamble on it. Save your money.
Anyway.
What money?
We pay you every week, don't we, Lindsay?
Sorry, I just can't pull myself together. Anyway, thank you, Tim.
Thanks for having me on.
Good to have you again. It's always a laugh, and I hope you're not that humorous when you're driving.
No. Yes. Anyway. Oh, you still sat there. Were you supposed to go?
We told you to go.
You're supposed to go.
I can't get out of my chair. You guys are just entertaining.
I'll help you. Special guest coming up next, Peter Bombacci. I've been practicing it all morning. I look at you and then I break out laughing. Yeah, you go. He's the country director of Movember. And that's the clue.
And Tim, a lot of sports people growing moustaches for it.
Well, you've just ruined it. I just lined it up for the secret. Sorry. You just ruined it.
I would not look good with a mustache.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, folks, don't go away. You are listening to the International Sports Report right on TSN 1050 Toronto.